Okay, so we have been talking about adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers, and what do you always have to find before you can add or subtract mixed numbers? Well, I hope you said a common denominator. But today we're actually going to talk about multiplying fractions. And we're going to start off talking about multiplying fractions by whole numbers. And the really cool thing about multiplying fractions is that you don't have to find a common denominator before you start. So let's just take a look at this. Do you guys remember when we did, we were making the witch's brew for Halloween, and we had a bunch of fractions and we needed to double the recipe? So in that case, when we doubled the recipe, all we did was we added the fractions 2 times. So we used repeated addition because we know that's the same as multiplication. We hadn't learned multiplication then, so we just did repeated addition and we added the fractions 2 times. So let's take a look at that and really see that that's all you're doing when you're multiplying, is just repeatedly adding something. So in this case, we have 2 wholes times 3/4. So before we look at it like this, let's look at it down here. Really what we're doing is we're adding 3/4 plus 3/4, because 3/4 2 times. And of course that gives us 6/4. And 6/4, you see, you can put it, it's in an improper fraction, and you change it into a mixed number and it becomes 1 2/4. We put it in simplest form and it becomes 1 whole and 1/2. And you can see that picture here. Here's the original 3/4. We added 3 more fourths to it, so you end up with 1 whole and 2/4, or 1 whole and 1/2 in simplest form. But you don't want to do repeated addition, because sometimes when it's more than just 2, you don't want to sit there and have to repeatedly add things over and over again. So what we do is we do multiplication. Now, I'm sure that you probably remember back when I was telling you about how every whole number not only has a decimal and infinite number of zeros hiding behind it, but it also has underneath it hiding a 1, right? Because 2 wholes, if we divide 2 by 1, we end up with just 2, right? So the same number we started with. So we can put 2 over 1, and then of course our 3/4. And when we multiply, we don't have to find a common denominator, so we simply multiply the numerators, get 6, and the denominators, and get 4. Same thing, 6/4. We got our same answer. Okay, so now you've seen me do one. Now I want you to take out your paper and your pencil, and we're going to do one together, and then you'll get to try one on your own. So here's the one we're going to do together. We've got 4 times 5 6. Now remember, I said you could repeatedly add 5 6 plus 5 6 plus 5 6 plus 5 6. There's a simpler way to do it. What's hiding under this 4? A 1, right? So this is the same as 4 over 1 times 5 6. Do we have to find a common denominator when we're multiplying? No. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 times 6 is 6. So our answer is 26. But that's a what kind of fraction? Improper fraction. So we got to change it into a mixed number. So we have 6 here. 6 goes into it 3 times. We're left with 2. 3 wholes and 2 6. Is that in simplest form? No. We know they're both even numbers. They can both be divided by 2, and so we end up with 3 wholes and 1/3. That's our final answer. All right, so now it's your turn to try. Now that we've done one together, go ahead and pause the video and try 6 wholes times 2 9s. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to do that, and you saw that you put 6 over 1 times 2 over 9, and you got 12 9ths. That's an improper fraction. Goes into it 1 time with 3 left over, 1 and 3 9ths. But that's not in simplest form. Both can be divided by 3, so you end up with 1 and 1/3. All right. So that's how you do whole numbers times fractions. But what if you have just fractions by fractions? I bet you already know, because we just did some, right? In this case, again, you simply multiply the numerators, you get 2. And then the denominators, you get 18. It's 2/18. Of course, we have to make that in the simplest form, which would be 1/9. But I want to show you in pictures why that is. So you see we have 2/3 here. Now we're going to divide the other way. We're going to divide it into 6s. So there's 2 equal parts. So going from left to right, we see we have 6 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of course, with our 3 the other way. Now I'm going to color in 1/6 of that. Let's look for the overlap. How many, well, we can count how many blocks we have equal blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, so we got there. Now how many of them are colored with both colors, both blue and red? 1, 2. 2 out of 18. So that's how we got that. Now you've seen me do one. We're going to do one together, and then you'll have a chance to do one by yourself. Okay, so let's do one together. Remember, we don't have to find a common denominator for this, so it's simply 4 times 1 is 4. You're writing this down, right? 4/5 times 1/2. All right, 5 times 2 is 10. Is that in simplest form? No, it's not, because both the numerator and the denominator are even and can be divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your answer is 2/5 in simplest form. Now, you go ahead and pause the video and you try 7/10 times 2/3 by yourself. Hopefully you've had a chance to do that. You come back. 7 times 2 is 14. 10 times 3 is 30. Is this in simplest form? No, because they're both even numbers. And you end up with dividing both by 2, and you get 7 out of 15, and that's your final answer. So I hope this made a lot of sense. Now you have some practice problems that you're going to do. There's also pictures right below. If you look below the link, there's some pictures that help you remember how to do all this. All right.